exercise that I gave you, and I've also prepared a a simulation table for those what do you call this, statistical accumulators that we need to monitor their value changes. And also I've also prepared a the graph for the QT and the BT curve. So ito yung mga kakailanganin natin. I-prepare nyo na siya. These two, itong exercise and itong simulation table ay available sa ating LMS. I uploaded it sa LMS, so kindly download and print it. And sundan nyo lang ako pag naka-download at print na kayo, ay pwede nyo nang sundan yung sa mga hindi pa masyadong nakakaintindi. Okay. So, let's proceed. Let me just read again the exercise number 1. Elkin's Batilpatong Pansitan wants their business to be studied using modeling and simulation. Assuming that the arrival of customers is one at a time with arrival rates specified on Table 1, with customer number 1 arriving at time 0, and assuming that the service time per customer of the cook, who is also Elkin, are also provided on Table 1. Simulate from time 0 to time 20 minutes. Another assumption is that Elkin is vacant and idle at the beginning of simulation. Elkin would want to know the total customers served, which is symbolized as P, average waiting time in queue, maximum time waiting in queue, or WQ asterisk, time average number of customers waiting in queue, maximum number of customers that were ever waiting in queue, symbolized as Q asterisk, average and maximum total time in system of customers served. The maximum total time in system of customers served is symbolized as TS asterisk, and lastly, the utilization of cook. So, this is our situation. Based on our previous discussion of the processes of conducting a simulation study, the first step that we should do is to identify, to formulate the problem or plan the study. So, in formulating the problem, we should know the objectives of the study. And those objectives are already given in our situation. So, those objectives are the total customers served, knowing the total customers served until the utilization of the cook. So, those are the 8 performance measures that we would want to know in this simulation exercise. Now, we're done with knowing the objectives. The next is to collect the data and build or develop our conceptual model. So, data are facts or figures that are provided in the situation. So, let me just run through. One is the arrival of customers is one at a time. So, this is a fact that we should know. And then, we also have customer number 1 arriving at time 0. So, that's another fact or figure. Next, simulation time is from 0 to 20 minutes. So, this is another factor figure. And lastly, the data that is provided on table 1, which are the arrival rates and service rates of Pansitan customers. So, a student was asking about inter-arrival time and service time. So, I said on my lecture that these inter-arrival and service times are random numbers. And this collection of random numbers are what is called probability distribution, which will be discussed after this hand simulation, or after demonstrating the uh, single server queuing system on the simulation software. Then that time we will discuss about probability distributions. So let's not focus yet on probability distribution. Just know that these are given. These are random numbers, but they mean something. So inter-arrival time is the difference of the arrival times between two customers. So inter-arrival time is based on the arrival time of our customers 1 and 2, for example, in this case. So based on the um, you know the situation, the arrival of the first customers is at time 0. Okay. After knowing that, we can now compute uh, all of the remaining arrival times from customer number 2 until customer number 10. But before doing that, let's just explain first uh, the symbologies. So, okay, N is the number of entities that pass through the queue so far. And then we have a summation of waiting time in queue observed so far, summation of queue times observed so far. Summation of TS is the summation of total time in system observed so far. Area of queue, area under the QT curve so far. Area of B, area under the BT curve so far. QT is the number of entities in the queue at any time instant T. And BT is the status of the server, 1 if busy, 0 if idle. And going through the simulation matrix, let's just explain the fields in this table. So the first major field is the just finish event, where it contains entity number, time t, or the current time or the simulation time, event type. We have variables for the QT and BT, which are related to the attributes of arrival times in queue, in service. And we have the statistical accumulators that were symbolized above here. So yan siya. And some of those statistical accumulators are identified as performance measures as our objectives. And lastly, we have the event calendar, wherein each value in the array consists of entity number, time, and type. So those are the fields in our simulation matrix. Okay. Now, let's go on and compute for our arrival times. So again, our arrival times are computed by adding the previous arrival time and the inter-arrival time. So 0 plus 1.73 is equal to 1.73. Okay. So just add again 1.73 plus 1.35, 1.73 plus 1.35. The next arrival is 3.08 plus 0.71 3.79 plus 14.28 plus 0.62, I should say, 4.41 plus 14.28 18.69 plus 0.70, 19.39 plus 15.52, 34.91 plus 3.15, 38.06 plus 1.76, 39.82. So now we have our arrival times. After getting the arrival times of our customers, we should identify the first departure time first. Okay? So the first departure time is 2.90 because at the beginning of the simulation, the first customer did not wait in the queue. He went directly to the server, and with a service time of 2.90, he or she departed at time 2.90. Now we will not get the departure time of the other customers because during the simulation time, the current time may not be the departure time. It may be the arrival time. So those cases that the arrival time may be the current time if the server is idle at that moment. So we could not compute the departure time all throughout the customers. Now we have the value of arrival time for the first customer and departure time of the first customer. We're now ready to do the simulation. Okay, just follow. Look at the event calendar. We have two values. One, 0.00 arrival. So this is the arrival of the first customer at time 0.00, in other words. And we also have the end event at time 20.00 based from our given facts and figures in the situation. So in executing the event calendar, we should be noting on the chronological order of time. So if the time is earlier, then it will be the event that will be executed first. So there are only two times indicated in this event calendar. It's 0 and 20. So the first event would be the arrival of customer number 1 at time 0.00 slash it and transpose it in the just finished event. So 1, 0.00 arrival. Okay. Let's go to the graph so that we could visualize the changes in the QT and BT. So at time 0.00, the customer arrived, but he did not wait in the queue. He went directly to the server, so we don't have any value in the QT. So put a point here. For the server BT function, the customer number 1 directly went to the server. So at time 0.00, the server is now busy. So put your point here. Okay. So let's base our values of QT and BT from this graph. So if the point is here at the QT at 0, then we will put 0. And then here it's 1. Okay. So arrival times in queue, there is no one in the queue. So remain open and close parentheses. And then in service is the arrival time of the arriving entity. So the arrival time of customer number 1 is 0.00 po. So 0.00. Okay. Now, let's update our statistical accumulators. P again is the total customers served. So no one is served yet. No one is served yet and departed the system. So this is still 0. N is the number of entities that passed through the queue so far. Customer number 1 passed through the queue. So, it's 1. Summation of waiting time in queue. No one waited in the queue, so there's no value, 0.00. And maximum, of course, 0.00. Summation of total time in system. No one was served and departed the system yet, so it's still 0.00. And the maximum is 0.00. Area in queue. So let's base our area in queue in this graph. There is no area yet on the graph, either of the QT and the BT. So this means that it's still 0.00. Maximum Q is the maximum number in the QT. So it's still 0, so it's 0. Okay? Now, we're now ready to append our event calendar and add arrival and departure. We will now add the arrival of customer number 2 at time 1.73. So let's put 2 1.73 R. And then the departure of customer number 1 at time 2.90. 2.90 depth. And let's carry over the event for the end. Again, to reiterate the rule in the event calendar, the event calendar can have at least 2 events and maximum of 3 events. So for the at least 2 events, it should be a combination of arrival and departure end. It could not be that the combinations would be arrival, departure. So it should be arrival and departure end, or arrival, departure. So those are the values for at least 2. For 3, it should be arrival, departure, and nothing else. It could not be arrival, and departure, end. So those are the valid values of the event calendar. Okay, let's now check our event calendar. Time is 1.73, 2.90, and 20. So based on the chronology of time, it's 1.73 that will happen next. So let's slash the arrival of 2 at 1.73. So 2, 1.73 arrival. Let's graph it. At time 1.73, it's here. I think it's here. Customer number 2 arrived. So while customer number 1 is still on the server, customer number 2 will wait at the queue. So our point will be here. Okay? And let's draw it. Pataas siya. And then for the server, it's still busy with customer number 1. So dito pa rin yung point. I-connect natin. And si BT ay may na-generate na area. Ibig sabihin nito, pag may na-generate na area, may pagbabago dun sa area of B. Dito naman, sa area of Q, yung ma-generate dito na value ay area of Q. Area of Q. Masyadong mababa yung pagka-draw ko ng ano ba yan? So, yung ma-generate dito na value magiging area of Q. But based dito sa ating graph, wala pa siyang ma-generate na value kasi wala naman tayong ma-shade. Okay? So, pwede na natin ilagay dito na 0.0 si area of Q. At si B, i-compute natin mamaya. So, based from this graph, sa number of entities natin sa queue, 1 na. Sa BT naman natin, 1 pa rin. Ayan. And then, dun sa arrival times in queue, ay si customer number 2. So, ang arrival time, ilalagay natin 1.73. And then, sa in-service, ay si customer number 1, arrival niya is 0.00. So, wala pa rin departure event. So, wala pang umaalis sa system. So, 0 pa rin ang P. 1 pa rin ang N. And then, waiting time in queue. Wala pa tayong makakalculate sa waiting time in queue kasi wala pang departure event. Pati yung maximum. Sa total time in system, ganun din. At sa maximum TS. Okay. Maximum queue. So, meron ng 1 sa QT. Let's put 1. And then, area of B, let's compute. So, our formula for area of B is plus equals BT of previous event. So, the BT of previous event is 1. So, 1 times the current time, which is 1.73, minus previous event time. So, the previous event time is 0.00. 0.00. So, equals to 1.73. So, the value of area of B is 1.73. Okay. Let's update again our event calendar. Since arrival ang katatapos lang ng event, so papalitan ulit natin siya ng arrival. We'll now get the arrival of customer number 3 at time 3.08. 3.08 arrival, and then i-drop lang natin yung dating values. So, the chronology of time is 2.90 ang departure ni customer number 1, 3.08 ang arrival ng customer number 3. So, mas mauuna ang departure ni customer number 1. So, yun ang slash natin dito. At ilipat natin siya dito sa ating just finish event. 2.90 depth. Okay. Gaya nga ng sabi ko sa lecture, the departure of an entity will trigger the change in the values of tong summation of waiting time in queue until that maximum total time in system. However, if the queue is empty twice, then there is no change in the waiting time in queue, only on the total time in system. So, kikita natin mamaya kung ano yung mga changes dun sa ating statistical accumulators na to. So, at 2.90, balik tayo dun sa graph, 2.90, nandito siya, nandito rin siya. So, nagde-depart. Ibig sabihin, aalis yung customer number 1 sa server. And, itong naman si customer number 2 na nasa queue ay papalit na doon sa ating server. So, ibig sabihin, at time 2.90, wala nang maghihintay sa queue. So, dito ang point natin, pababa. Pababa. Yan. Pero may na-generate siya na area. So, ibig sabihin, magbabago ang area of queue natin. And then, at 2.90, si server ay busy pa rin, busy na ulit kay customer number 2. So, yung point ay sa 1 pa rin. And may na-generate na area. Compute natin yan. So, based from this graph, makikita natin kaagad yung number of entities sa queue, 0 na. So, 0 ito, 1 pa rin. So, wala nang laman yung queue, so wala na tayong lalagay na arrival time. And then, ililipat na natin si 1.73 na arrival time ni customer number 2 sa in-service. Okay. Meron nang umalis sa system, isa. si customer number 1. And then the number of entities that pass through the queue so far ay 2 na. Okay? Then waiting time in queue summation. So let's compute now the waiting time in queue. So again, the summation of waiting time in queue is plus equals T minus arrival time of entity in service. No change when server is empty. So, okay. Plus equals, the current time is 2.90 minus the arrival time of entity in service, which is 1.73. So, the value now is 1.17. So, let's just label this at waiting time in queue number 1 para ma-monitor natin yung mga values ng ating waiting time in queues. So, 1.17. 1.17 ang lalagay natin dito sa ating summation. And then, since 1.17 is the highest value in waiting time in queue, 1.17 din ang lalagay natin dito. Summation of total time in system. Let's compute. So, plus equals current time 2.90 minus arrival time of departing entity. The arrival time of the departing entity is 0.00, si customer number 1. So, the value is 2.90. And we will label this as TS1 for tracking of the values of the total time in system. So, 2.90 din ito. And then, area of queue. Kasi dito sa graph natin, merong na-generate na area. So, merong pagbabago sa value ng area of queue. So, let's compute. Plus equals QT of the previous event. QT of the previous event is 1. So, 1 times T, 2.90, minus previous event time is 1.73. So, it's 1.17. So, 1.17 okay. So, ang maximum Q natin is still 0. It's still 1 kasi na-reach na yung 1 nung nag-arrive si customer number 2. And then, area of B, based dito sa graph natin, ay may na-generate na area dito. So, meron tayong pagbabago sa values ng area of B. Okay. So, okay. Dahil sa summation nito, kukunin natin yung value nung nauna, which is 1.73, plus the new value. BT of previous event is 1 times T, which is 2.90 minus previous event time is 1.73. Okay. So, 1.73 plus 1 times 2.90 minus 1.73 is ito, 1.17. Then, 1.73 plus 1.17 is 2.9. Okay. 2.9. Yan. Let's update again our event calendar. The departure event, ang huling event na nangyari. So, papalitan natin ulit siya ng isang departing event. So, carry over lang natin yung arrival kanina. And then, palitan natin ng departing event. Magdagdag ulit tayo ng departing event. Now, hindi natin alam yung departure time ng ating customer number 2. So, kailangan natin calculate. Departure time is the time T plus service time. So, the current time now is 2.90 plus the service time of customer number 2 identified in the table is 1.76. 1.76. So, it's 4.66. Ngayon, 4.66 ang departure time ni customer number 2. So, ilagay natin dito. 2, 4.66, dep. Okay? And then, carry over lang natin yung end event. Yan. Okay. So, based on the time, 3.08, 4.66, 20, mauna si 3.08, which is the arrival of customer number 3 / it. And, lipat natin siya sa just finish event, 3.08. And then, ito, arrival. Okay. Balik tayo dito sa ating graph. At time 3.08, baka nandito yun. Dito. Yan. Nag-arrive si customer number 3. So, since si customer number 2 ay nandoon siya sa server, ongoing pa lang siyang sinaservan ni cook or ni server, ay maghihintay si customer number 3 sa queue. So, ibig sabihin, tataas na naman ito dito. So, ang drawing natin is pataas. And then, sa BT curve, ay si server ay busy pa rin. Yan. So, merong area na na-generate sa BT curve. Pero dito sa QT curve natin, walang na-generate na area kasi pataas pa lang siya. So, ibig sabihin, walang pagbabago sa area of Q. Pwede na natin i-assume na 1.17 pa rin ito. Okay. Based from the values of these graphs, pwede natin ma-deduce yung values ng ating variables. So, si QT ay 1 ulit. Si BT ay 1 pa rin. So, ilalagay natin ang arrival time ni customer number 3 sa loob ng parenthesis, which is 3.08. Yan. At 1.73 pa rin ito. Walang departure event, so walang pagbabago sa values ng P and N. So, 1 pa rin ito at saka 2. And itong susunod na 4 na accumulators ay wala rin pagbabago dahil wala namang departing event. So, ibaba nyo pa rin yung values niya. 2.90, 2.90. Maximum Q, 1 pa rin. And then area of B, let's update, should say. So, summation ito, ilalagay ulit natin yung dating value na 2.90 plus the new value. BT of the previous event. BT of the previous event is 1 times current time 3.08 minus previous event time 2.90. So, 2.90 plus ano na to? 3.08 minus 2.90 is 0.18 times 1, 0.18. And then, 3.08. Yan ang value ng ating area of B. 3.08. Okay. So, let's update again our event calendar. So, arrival ang last na event na natanggal sa event list. So, arrival ulit ang papalit natin. So, it's now the arrival of the 4th customer at 3.79. So, 3.79 arrival. And then, carry over lang natin yung mga dating events. Okay. So, the times in this event are 3.79, 4.66, and 20. Siyempre, maunang ma-execute si 3.79, which is the arrival of the 4th customer. So, yun ang ililipat natin sa just finish event for 3.79 and the arrival. Okay, let's go back to our graph. time 3.79, nandito siya. Malapit na siya sa 4. Okay? So, at time 3.79 na dumating si customer number 4. And si customer number 2 ay nandun pa rin siya sa server. Si customer number 3 naghihintay pa rin siya sa queue. And dumating si customer number 4. So, ibig sabihin, dalawa na sila ni customer number 3 na maghihintay sa queue. So, ang value ng ating QT ay nandito na siya. So, pataas ang pag-draw. And then, may na-generate na maliit na area dito. Ibig sabihin, i-update natin yung value ng ating area of queue. And then, si server ay busy kay customer number 2 pa rin. So, 1 pa rin siya. And may na-generate na maliit na area dito. Okay. So, based from these graphs, deduce natin ang values ng ating QT at BT. So, 2 na ang value ng QT natin. 2. And then, 1 pa rin si BT. And now, dalawa na ang laman ng ating queue. So, ilalagay natin yung arrival time ni customer number 4 at yung dating arrival time 3.08. And in service pa rin ay 1.73. Okay? Walang departure event pa. So, walang pagbabago yung P hanggang TS asterisk. So, 1, 2, 1.17, 1.17, 2.90, 2.90. Area of queue may pagbabagong konti. So, kailangan nating update yung value ng ating area of queue. Sige. Summation ito. So, ibig sabihin, carry natin yung dating value na 1.17 plus QT of previous event. QT of previous event is 1. So, 1 times current time 3.79 minus previous event time 3.08. 1.17 plus 3.79 minus 3.08 is 0.71. Times 1, 0.71 pa rin. So, equals 1.88. So, the new value of area of Q is 1.88. Okay. Now, maximum Q is dalawa na. So, 2. And then, area of B, let's update, was 3.08. Dating value plus the new value. PT of previous event is 1 times current time 3.79 minus previous time 3.08 equals 3.08 plus 0.71 times 1 is 0.71 still. So, the new value is 3.79. 3.79. Update the event calendar. Since arrival ang last event, arrival na naman ang papalit natin. The arrival of the 5th customer is at time 4.41. 4.41. Arrival. Carry the old values. So, the times are 4.41, 4.66, 20. So, 4.41 pa rin ang pinaka mababang time. So, ibig sabihin, the arrival of the 5th customer is next. So, lang natin siya sa just finished event. 5, 4.41, arrival. Okay. So, puro arrival yung mga events. Balik tayo dito sa graph natin. At time 4.41 dito yun. So, Since wala pang departure event, puro arrival, ibig sabihin maghihintay na naman sa queue yung sumunod na customer, which is customer number 5. So, ibig sabihin, ang point natin ay nandito sa taas, sa number 3 na. Tatlo na. Kaya naman na-generate na area dito. Okay. Tapos, si BT curve, busy pa rin siya. So, 1 pa rin. May na-generate na area. Okay. Based from this graph, the new value of QT now is 3. So, 3 ang lalagay natin dito. 3. And BT is still 1. Sa tatlo na tong nandito sa queue, ibig sabihin, append natin yung arrival time nung customer number 5. 4.41, tapos yung mga dating values 3.79, 3.08, tapos 1.73 pa rin to. Walang pagbabago dahil walang departure event, so walang pagbabago sa P hanggang TS asterisk. 1, 2, 1.17, 1.17, 2.9, T, 2.9T. Area of Q, may pagbabago. So, let's compute. Summation. So, 1.88 old value plus the new value. QT of previous event is 2. So, 2 times current time, 4.41 minus previous time, 3.79. Compute 1.88 plus 2 times ito 0.62 okay, so 1.88 plus 1.24 equals 3.12. So, 3.12 na ang bagong value ng ating area of Q. And then, the maximum Q is 3 na. So, 3 na ito. And then, area of B, may pagbabago. So, let's compute. Old value plus the new value. BT of previous event is 1 times current time, 4.41 minus 3.79 previous time. Compute 3.79 plus 0.62 times 1 is still 0.62. So 3.79 plus 0.62 is 4.41. So the new value of area of B is 4.41. Date the calendar. Arrival na naman. So 6. Arrival of 6 is 18.69. 18.69 arrival. And then ibaba lang yung mga dating events. So the values of the time are 18.69, 4.66, and 20. So 4.66 ang mauuna. So it's the departure of the entity number 2. So, yun ang lalagay natin sa just finished event. So, 2, 4.66, departure. Let's go back to our graph. At time 4.66, dito yun siguro. Dito rin yun. Nagde-depart na si customer number 2. So, ibig sabihin, umalis na siya sa system. Itong tatlong naghihintay sa ating queue ay mababawasan ng isa, lilipat na siya sa server. So, ibig sabihin, ang matitirang values ng ating QT ay magiging 2 na lang. So, dito yung point, pababa na siya. Yan. Pero, merong na-generate na area. Ibig sabihin, magbabago ang value ni area of Q. And then, sa area of B, busy pa rin si server. Siyempre, 1 pa rin siya. Okay? And based from this graph, we can now deduce the value of the QT and the BT. So, ang QT natin is dalawa na lang. And then, ang BT is 1 pa rin. So, doon sa ating attributes, dalawa na rin lang ang laman kasi siya isa ay umalis na. So, 4.41 and 3.79 na lang. Tapos, si 3.08, lumipat na siya dito sa in-service. Yan. Departure. May pagbabago from P to TS. Asterisk. So, dalawa na ang umalis sa system. 3 na ang lumampas sa queue. And then, summation of waiting time in queue. Let's compute. So, the old value is 1.17 equals 1.17 plus current time 4.66 minus arrival time of entity in service. Arrival time of customer number 2 is 1.73. Now, ulit. Arrival time of entity in service. The arrival time of entity in service ay ito pala. Ito. 3.08. Yan. Okay? So, 1.17 plus 4.66 minus 3.08 is 1.58 equals 2.75. Ayan. 2.75 na ang bagong value ng ating waiting time in queue. And before I plot natin yung 2.75, i-labelan natin ang 1.58, ito, yung difference ng 4.66 at 3.08 as the instance of waiting time in queue number 2 natin. Para matrack natin yung changes ng waiting time in queue. So, 2.75. And then, let's compare the two instances of waiting time in queue. 1 and 2. So, 1.17 yung una and then 1.58. So, mas mataas si 1.58. So, siya, ang lalagay natin dito. 1.58. Summation of total time in system. Okay? Magbabago. So, ang old value niya is 2.90 plus current time 4.66 minus arrival time of departing entity. Arrival time of departing entity is 1.73. Arrival time of customer number 2 kasi is 1.73. Siya na yung magde-depart eh. So, 2.90 plus this is 2.93. 2.93. 2.90 plus 2.93 is 5.83. So, this is the new value of our summation of total time in system. Let's take note again the second instance of total time in system, which is 2.93. So, TS2 ito. So, 5.83 ang summation, and then based from the two values of TS, 2.90 yung una, 2.93 yung pangalawa. So, 2.93 ang pinakamataas. So, siya ang TS asterisk natin. Area of Q, meron pagbabago. Kasi may area dito. May area dito. So, let's compute. Okay. Old value is 3.12 plus QT of previous event is 3. So, 3 times current time 4.66 minus previous event time 4.41. So, this is 3.12 plus 3 times 0.25. So, 3.12 plus 0.75. So, 3.87. So, the new value of area of Q is 3.87. Yan. So, the maximum Q is still 3. And then the area of B is, let's compute, old value 4.41 plus the new value. BT of previous event is 1 times current time 4.66 minus previous event time 4.41. Yan. 4.41 plus 0.25. So, 4.66. 4.66. 4.66 na ang bagong value ng ating area of B. Now, event calendar list. Let's just bring down the old values, the arrival of the 6th customer, and then since departing event yung huli na natanggal, departing event ang papalit natin. So, hindi natin alam pa ang departing event ni customer, departing time ni customer number 3. So, let's compute. Equals current time, which is 4.66 plus the service time of customer number 3 is 3.39. 3.39. So, this is 8.05. So, okay. So, 8.05 ang departure time ng customer number 3. So, 8.05 departure. Then, carry over lang natin yung end event. Ayan. So, okay. Based on the time specified on the calendar, it's 18.69, 8.05, and 20. So, maunang ma-execute si 8.05, which is the departure of customer number 3. So, just finish event. Lipat lang natin, 8.05, dep. Okay, let's go back to our graph. So, at time 8.05, nandito yun. Dito yun. Magde-depart na si customer number 3. At yung dalawang nandun sa ating queue ay mababawasan ng isa kasi yung isa, papalitan niya si customer number 3 doon sa server. So, at this point in time, magiging isa na lang yung nasa queue. Ganito, pababa yung ating drawing. And then, meron na generate na malaking area dito. And then, si BT curve, busy pa rin at time 8.05. So, 1 pa rin siya. And then, may na-generate na area dito. Departure event. So, halos lahat or lahat talaga ay ma-update natin. Based on this graph, 1 na lang si QT. So, 1 na lang ito. And then, 1 pa rin si BT. 1. And then, ito, isa na lang yun nandun sa queue. Si customer number 5. So, 4.41 ang arrival niya. So, dyan lang siya. And then, si 3.79 ay lilipat na dito sa ating arrival time in service. Okay. Departure event. Meron nang umalis ulit sa system. 3 na to. May lumampas na naman sa queue. 4 na ito. And then, summation of waiting time in queue. May pagbabago. Okay. So, old value 2.75 plus current time 8.05 minus arrival time of entity in service which is 3.79. Okay. 2.75 plus 8.05 minus 3.79 is 4.26 plus 2.75 is 7.01. So let's just take note again, the new instance of waiting time in queue, which is 4.26. Let's just label this as WQ3. And let's now put 7.01 as the new value of summation of waiting time in queue. 7.01. And comparing the values of the waiting time in queues 1, 2, 3, it's 1.17, 2.75, and 1.17, 1.58, and 4.26. So the maximum there is 4.26. So this is 4.26. Summation of total time in system. Let's compute. Old value 5.83 plus current time 8.05 minus arrival time of departing entity. The departing entity is customer number 3. Its arrival is 3.08. Okay. So 5.83 plus 8.05 minus 3.08 is ito. 4.97. 4.97. So, plus 5.83, this is 10.8. So, let's just take note again, 4.97 as a new instance of total time in system, and we'll label it as TS3. So, now, 10.8 na ang ating bagong summation of TS. And then, comparing the values of all instances of TS, we have 2.9, 2.93, and 4.97. So, the maximum is, of course, 4.97. So, 4.97, itong, wait lang, tama, 4.97. Area of queue. Merong pagbabago kasi napakalaki nga nung ganyan, nung na-generate na area dito. Pati yung sa area of B. So, we'll expect a huge new value. So, let's compute. Equals 3.87 old value plus the new value. QT of previous event is 2. So, 2 plus 2 times, I should say, current time 8.05 minus previous event time 4.66. 3.87 plus 2 times ano to? 8.05 minus 4.66 is 3.39. Okay. So 3.87 plus 2 times 3.39 is 6.78 plus 3.87, this is now 10.65. So the new value of area of Q is 10.65. 10.65. Maximum Q, it's still 3. Area of B. Area of B, ibabago to. Old value 4.66 plus the new value BT of previous event is 1 times time 8.05 minus previous event time 4.66. Okay, 4.66 plus 8.05 3.39. So this is now 8.05. Okay. So 8.05 na ang bagong value ng area of B. And pending again our event calendar. So let's just bring down the previous events, the arrival, and then let's change the departure again. So we'll now again generate the new departure time of customer number 4. So current time is 8.05 plus the service time of customer number 4 is 4.52. So the new departure time is 12.57. O 12.57 nalagay natin dito. And then, lagay na natin yung departure ni customer number 4 at 12.57 dep, and then yung end event natin. So, the times are 18.69, 12.57, and 20. So, mauuna si 12.57, which is the departure of customer number 4. So, let's just put it on the just finished event, 12.57 departure. Again, this is another departure. Based on our QT, may isang naghintay sa queue, and then BCC, and then ganyan. May isang naghintay na lang sa queue. So, ibig sabihin, lipat na siya dun sa server. So, at time 12.57, dito yun. Dito, 12.57 ay mavavacate ng ating queue. Wala na siyang lalamanin. So, ganito ang drawing, pababa. Pero, may na-generate siya na area of queue. And then, si ganyan naman, si server ay magiging busy dun sa bagong dating na customer. So, yan. 1 pa rin, na-generate na area. Okay, based from this graph, we can derive the values of QT and BT. 0 na ulit ang Q natin, QT natin, so 0. And then BC pa rin si server, so 1. And then, dahil wala nang laman ng ating Q, wala nang laman din ito. Then, itong si 4.41, lipat na siya dito. Departure, may pagbabago. 4 na ang lumabas sa system, 5 na ang lumampas sa queue. Waiting time in queue, may pagbabago. So, let's compute. Old value is 7.01 plus current time, 12.57 minus arrival time of entity in service, 4.41. Okay. 7.01 plus 8.16. So, 8.16 plus 7.01 is 15.17. Yan. 15.17 ang waiting time in queue natin. And, para hindi tayo malose track, yung 8.16 is the 4th instance of waiting time in queue. So, let's just label it as WQ4. And, yun, 15.17 na ito. Basing from the 4 instances of WQ, 1.17, 1.58, 4.26, and 8.16, the highest, the maximum value is now 8.16. So, 8.16 ang lagay natin dito. Total time in system. Let's compute. 10.08 old value plus new value is current time, 12.57 minus arrival time of departing entity. So, si customer number 4, ang arrival time niya is 3.79. Ayan. 10.8 plus
2,000 years later.
ano to? 8.78. 8.78. So, it's now 19.58. Okay. So, again, yung 8.78 is the 4th instance of total time in system. So, label it as TS4. And now, we can now put 19.58 dito sa summation of TS. And comparing the instances of TS, 2.9, 2.93, 4.97, and 8.78. The highest is 8.78. So, yun ang lalagay natin dito sa maximum. Area of queue. Meron na generate. Let's change. Update. Old value 10.65 plus new value. QT of previous event is 1 times current time 12.57 minus previous event time 8.05. 10.65 plus 12.57 minus 8.05 is 4.52 plus 10.65, it's 15.17. So 15.17. Okay. And then 3 pa rin ang ating Q asterisk. And then area of B, may pagbabago. 8.05 old value plus new value. Previous BT is 1 times current time is 12.57 minus previous event time 8.05. So 8.05 plus 4.52. This is now 12.57. 12.57. Update the event calendar. Okay. Now, we're now ready to append again an departure event. So it's the departure of customer number 5. Let's update our departure time. So current time is 12.57 plus the service time of customer number 5, which is 4.46, equals 17.03. 17.03 is the new departure time. So it's 17.03 yung end event natin. Okay. Basing from the times provided, it's 18.69, 17.03, and 20. Palapit na tayo sa end event. So, pinakamababa doon is 17.03. So, slash that and transfer it to the just finished event. So, it's the departure of customer number 5 at time 17.03 depth. Okay. Let's update our graph. 17.03, dito yun. Okay. And departure. So magde-depart na si customer number 5 na nandun sa server. So since wala na naghihintay sa queue at departure event ito, ibig sabihin, ang linya natin, ang drawing natin is linya ng 0 kasi wala namang pumasok. Yan. And then for the server, magde-depart na yung sinaservan niya. And walang naghihintay dun sa queue. So, ibig sabihin, at time 17.03 now, so, ibig sabihin, i-drop na natin yung values ng area of queue dati, which is 15.17. So, ilagay lang natin siya. Okay. Based from this graph, we can now deduce our values of QT and BT, which is 0 pa rin ang QT. And then, 0 na ang BT, kasi idle na siya. So, walang laman ang queue, walang laman ang server. May pagbabago sa values ng P, 5 na ang lumabas sa system. Number 6. So, 5 pa rin yan. Okay. Waiting time in queue. Waiting time in queue. Ngayon, since the departure of customer number 4, wala nang laman ng queue natin, and then yung next event natin is another departure, ibig sabihin, walang naghintay dun sa queue. So, walang pagbabago tong values na to. 15.17 pa rin siya and 8.16. And now, dahil paalis na si customer number 5 doon sa ating server, ibig sabihin, merong pagbabago sa total timing system. And now, let's compute TS. TS equals TS old value 19.58 plus new value. Current time is 17.03 minus arrival time of departing entity. The arrival time of customer number 5 is 4.41. So 19.58 plus ano to? 12.62. 12.62. So 12.62 plus 19.58 is 32.2. And let's take note of 12.62 as the fifth instance of total timing system. So now let's put 32.2 sa summation of TS, 32.2, and then comparing the instances of TS, 2.90, 2.93, 4.97, 8.78, 12.62 ang latest. So pinakamataas ang 12.62, so siya ang maximum, 12.62. Okay. Walang pagbabago sa Q asterisk. 3 pa rin ng maximum. And then area of B, bago siya naging idle, nag-generate siya ng area. So, merong pagbabago sa area of Q. Area of B pala, I should say. So, old value 12.57 plus BT of previous event 1 times current event time is 17.03 minus previous event time 12.57. Okay. 12.57 plus 17.03, 4.46 times 1 is 4.46 pa rin. So 12.57 plus 4.46 is 17.03. So 17.03. Yan. Okay. Now there are only 2 events left on the event calendar, which is the arrival of customer number 6 at 18.69 and the end event at time 20. Ngayon, hindi natin pwedeng dagdagan ng departure ni customer number 6 kasi hindi pa nag-a-arrive si customer number 6. So, ibig sabihin, ibababa lang natin yung dalawa. 10.69 arrival and then 20 end. Okay. So, the next event is the arrival of customer number 6. So, 6 at time 18.69 arrival. Okay. Hindi na siya dumaan sa queue. Wait lang. Dito pala sa graph muna. 18.69 ay nandito banda dito. Okay. Hindi na dumaan si customer number 6 sa queue. Ay, hindi na siya nagstay sa queue. So, ibig sabihin, 0 pa rin ang QT. Pero, si BT ay, syempre, naging busy si server nung pagdating ni customer number 6. So, pataas siya. So, ibig sabihin, pataas ang ating pagdrawing. So, mapapansin ninyo, walang area na generate from both areas of Q and areas of B. So, let's safely assume na walang pagbabago sa values ng dalawa. So, 15.17 pa rin ito at 17.03 pa rin ito. Okay. And based from the graph, we can deduce the values of QT and BT. 0 pa rin si QT. And then, 1 na si BT. Okay. Walang laman ng Q, so ganyan pa rin. And then, yung Arrival time ni customer number 6, ilalagay natin dito 18.69. It's an arrival event. Walang pagbabago from P to TS. So, 5, 5, 15.17. Wait lang. Si N, since lumampas na si customer number 6 sa queue, so dapat 6 na ito. Okay? So, 5.17, 8.16, 32.2, 12.62. Okay? And then, si Q asterisk ay 3 pa rin. Okay. Can now put the end event of customer number 6. So, let's compute yung end event niya. End event. Departure time pala. So, current time is 18.69. 18.69 plus the service time of customer number 6 identified here is 4.36. 4.36. So, it's now 23.05. So, 23.05. Dali lang. 23.05. 23.05 departure. And let's put an arrival event. Customer number 7 arriving at time 19.39. Arrival and event. Okay. So, based on the values of time, 19.39 ang pinakamababa. So, siya ang next event. The arrival of customer number 7 at time 19.39. Arrival. Okay. Another arrival event. So, since si server ay may laman, maghihintay si customer number 7 sa queue. Pero bago yon, i-draw natin sa graph. At time 19.39, dito siguro yon. Dito. Maghihintay si customer number 7 sa queue. So, magkakaroon ng 1 dito. Yan. Pero ang pag-draw natin is pataas. Yan. And then, dito sa ganyan, area of B, 1 pa rin na to dahil easy pa rin si server kay customer number 6. So, meron na generate na bagong area. So, sa area of Q, walang pagbabago, walang na-generate na area. So, it's safe to assume that the value is still the same. 10.17. Pero dito sa area of B, may pagbabago, so mag-change yan. Arrival. Based from our graph, makikita na natin yung mga values na naman ng ating QT and BT. So, sa QT, 1. And then sa BT, 1 pa rin. So, since meron naghihintay sa queue, may laman ng ating attribute. It's the arrival time of customer number 7, 19.39. And then dito sa in-service, I see 18.69 pa rin. So, arrival event, walang pagbabago from P to TS. So, 5, 6, 15.17, 8.16, 32.2, 12.62. 3 pa rin ang highest dito. And then, pagbabago sa area of B. So, let's update. Old value, 17.03 plus BT of previous event is 1. 1 times current time, 19.39 minus previous event time, 18.69. Okay. 17.03 plus 0.61. So, this is now 18.34. So, 18.34. Wait lang. Hindi 0.61. It's 0.7. 0.7 pala. Sorry. 0.7 And hindi 18.34, it's 17.03 plus 0.7, it's 17.73. Okay. So, 17.73. Okay. So, okay. Arrival of customer number 7 yung last event. So, papalitan natin ng arrival na naman. Carry over lang natin yung mga dati. At the arrival of customer number 8 na tayo. It's at 34.91. 34.91 arrival. And then 20 end. Facing from the times provided, 23.05, 34.9, 20. So, we've now come to the end of our simulation. So, at time 20, mag-e-end ng ating simulation. So, siya ang next event. Lipat natin siya dito. 20.00 end. Okay. Let's draw the graph again. 20 hinout na natin yung simulation. So, magre-remain pa rin yung mga values ng QT and BT natin. Yan. May na-generate na area dito. And of course, dito sa BT, may na-generate na area din. Okay. Let's just carry over the values of the variables. Walang pagbabago sa mga values dito. Ganun pa rin. Area of Q may pagbabago kasi may nadagdag. Okay? So, area of Q. Old value 15.17 plus QT of previous event 1 times current time 20 minus previous event time 19.39. So 15.17 plus 0.61. So this is now 15.78. So 15.78 na ito. 3 pa rin ito. And then si area of B for the last time, area of B 17.73 plus previous BT 1 times 20 minus 19.39, 17.73 plus 0.61, and the final value is 18.34. 18.34. Okay. Finally, let's update our event calendar. Kahit nag-end ng ating simulation, i-drop lang natin yung mga dating values. 6, 23.05, depth, 8, 34.9, arrival. Okay. And we're done with our simulation matrix. Ayan. Kapagod. Now what? Although sa isang klase, I instructed them to do the second exercise, but because we are doing this video demonstration, it will not end in filling up our simulation matrix, because again, we have objectives to identify. So, babalik tayo doon sa objectives natin, which are the 8 performance measures. Okay? So, balikan natin yung objectives natin. Yung walong objectives natin ay total customer served, sabi niya P, which is available naman na sa ating ganyan, sa ating statistical accumulator. So, the final value is 5. Okay? 5. Next is the average waiting time in queue. So, waiting time in queue. You have summed all the waiting time in queues. So, the final value is 15.17. So, yung summation natin of waiting time on queue is 15.17. So, since average ang gusto nating makuha, let's divide it with the number of entities that waited in the queue, which is the final value of n. So, n, 15.17 divided by 6, it's 2.53. 2.53 minutes per entity. So this is the average waiting time in queue. Okay. Next, maximum time waiting in queue. So available na rin sa atin yung statistical accumulator na ito. So it's 8.16 minutes. Ipetoin lang natin to ha. Okay. And then, next, time average number of customers waiting in queue. Time average, sabi niya. Okay. Time average of customers waiting in queue. We have our QT. Area of queue, I should say. So, we want to know the time average. Ibig sabihin, ang denominator natin doon is the time to get the average. So, this is area of queue over time. The simulation time. So, now, we have area of queue. The final value is 15.78 divided by the simulation time, 20. So, this is 0.79. 0.79 entity. So, wala na mga, sa totoo naman, wala na mga 0.79 na entity kasi whole number, 1, 2, 3, and so forth, ganun ang entities natin. But this performance measure just computes yung sinasabing time average of customer waiting in queue. So, yan, 0.79. Next, it's the maximum number of customers that are ever waiting in the queue or yung queue asterisk. So, 3 entities. 3 entities. Ito. Queue asterisk. Next. Average. Total time in system. AVTS. So, we got the summation of total time in system, which is 32.2. Wait lang. Lagay muna natin yung formula, yung equation, should say. Summation of TS. So, average of total time of system of customer served. So, ibig sabihin ng customer served natin is P. So, summation of TS over P, yun ang ating equation. So, 32.2 divided by 5 equals 6.44 minutes per entity. So, this is the average total time in system. And then, we have maximum total time in system of customer serve, which is available din sa ating statistical accumulator. So, this is 12.62 minutes. Lastly is the utilization of cook. Utilization. Yan. Utilization of cook. The utilization of the cook or utilization of the server, we got the area of B, which is 18.34 divided by, kunin muna natin pala yung kanyang equation. So, area of B over, of course, our denominator should be time because area of Q and area of B are time persistent statistics. So, divide it by the simulation time. So, 18.34 over 20 is equal to 0.92 or 92%. So, this is dimensionless proportion, meaning if you will relate it with the graph here, as you can see, yung wait lang. As you can see, yung walang area dito, ito yung 8%. Ibig sabihin, from time 0 to time 20, 92% na na-utilize yung ating server. So, talagang mavisualize na talaga natin dito yung utilization ng cook. Yan. So, kung available sa atin yung ganitong graphic sa ating simulation software, and ipapakita natin sa client natin later on, like for example, si Elkin, malalaman natin kaagad na meron siyang oras na hindi siya busy. Ganun. Meron siyang oras na hindi siya busy. Tama, na idle siya. So, ganun. Now, we got our objectives. And this now ends our online hands-on demonstration of hand simulation. So, okay. Tapos na sa wakas. Ciao.